What's up, guys? Tim Little, Matt Allen. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin, and welcome back to another episode of our 2024 Holiday Buyer's Guide series for you. Today, we are covering $200 rod and reel combos.
The $200 rod and reel combo is the sweet spot. In the past, this used to be where you had to begin. $100 rod, $100 reel was where the true quality kicked in. Now, it's down there at that $50 rod and reel. But still, when you get to that $100 rod, $100 reel like we're doing today, things skyrocket. Components on the insides of the reels, overall durability, weight reduction, sensitivity in the rods is all drastically different. You see such a huge leap between yesterday's video and today. If that spend is there for somebody, the value is there. But we want to cater to everybody, and that's why we review all those different price points. So today, we are kicking it off with the $200 combos. Again, this is in conjunction with Tackle Warehouse's Black November sale. This is the second section of that sale. Rods are currently on sale. Reels will be on sale next, so just keep note of that information. We'll hit that in some other videos anyway when we get to the reel sale, but rods are on sale today. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, this is really the bread and butter of bass fishing, right? Whether you're getting into it and you want some really quality gear that's going to last you a lifetime, or maybe you're a tournament angler and you want to have 4 or 5 different models but in the same rod line. This is where that kind of opens up. You get, like Matt talked about, you get those more sensitive rod blanks, nicer guides, smoother reels, smoother drags, that sort of stuff. So let's kick it off with spinning like we did yesterday. We'll talk about the Shimano SLX spinning rod paired up with the Shimano Noski 3000. Again, SLX, this is a rod that's been around. This rod line was around a couple years ago, and we have put it through the ringer. The bait casters, the spinning rods, we're going to talk about those here in just a second, but multiple rods or models in the line, so you can have your drop shot rod, your shaky head rod, your wacky rig rod,
Your swimbait
rod, your frog rod. But again, you're getting higher sensitivity, better blanks, better guides, and then paired up with that Noski, that's just a workhorse. It's more of that a reel in that power lineup for Shimano. Really good drag. It's just a workhorse of a combo. So if you're looking for something to throw shaky heads or Nico rigs, this is a good way to start.
You know, I'm if I can pat ourselves on the back here, I'm actually pretty impressed how close to the $200 mark we managed to stick on this video. We never do that. We're always fudging, especially when there's a sale, because then you know you've got some wiggle room. Most of these combos are right in there. We just barely get out of it at all. There's just so much good gear right at that $200 mark. So the first one up for me, this is from Cashion. This is their Element series, and I have that paired up to a Daiwa Legolas. The Legolas is an incredibly smooth, incredibly solid reel. The Cashion, you're talking about an American-made rod right around that $100 mark. It's amazing. I've been very impressed with these rods. We fished some of the higher-end Cashions, and when the Element series came out, I was anxious to give them a try, and I have been super impressed. Cork grip, which I really like, and then a full range of options. Just a very impressive combo overall. Very light in the hand, very light on the wallet, and you can't go wrong.
Next up for me is going to be the Tatula XT line of spinning rods. They're a little bit lighter, and paired up with that Daiwa Fuego LT, this is a really smooth reel. Like he talked about the Legalis, this is just a step up. You have that kind of that free floating handle turn. No, doesn't take a lot of inertia or power to get that thing going, but this truly has a feel of a higher price point reel. But again, that paired up, that Tatula XT paired up with that Daiwa spinner reel, this is a really good finesse combination.
Last of the spinning combos, and then there's a bunch of bait casting combos. The last of the spinning is going to be from St. Croix. This is the Bass X. We have fished Bass X through 3 generations, and they just continue to refine them. Bass X, what always strikes me about Bass X is the unbelievable number of models in the lineup. This isn't just a, oh, you want them all to be the same, so you have 4 or 5 to choose from, and now you've got a drop shot rod, and you know, you've got your all-around rod, and you got your jig rod or a topwater rod. This is like, you can have a drop shot rod, a Ned rig rod, a hair jig rod, right? Like, boom, boom, boom. So many models to choose from. And I guess this is a good time to add that in the video description below this video, we will link all of these in the order that we're talking about them, and we'll give you our favorites for each. So favorite size of the spinning reel, favorite standout model. So our favorite elements, our favorite Bass X, the ones that really stand out from the crowd, because that is something that Tim and I spend a lot of time doing, is not just trying a rod, but spending time in an entire series and getting to know where the sweet spots are. There's always models that stand out from the crowd that just seem to be dialed in. So back to here, we've got the Bass X paired to a Shimano Miravel. Tim just talked about the Shimano Noski. Shimano has 2 lines of spinning reels. There's a Power series and a Finesse series, and the Miravel is in that Finesse family of reels. So it's incredibly light, incredibly smooth. For its price point, its weight is unbelievable. And this overall pairing is incredibly light in the hand. It's just such a great setup.
Yeah, Bass X, I mean, Croix is probably the king of having models forever. They're probably
it's
the king
unbelievable.
of models. All right, next up for me, again, we're trying to do this balancing act between rod and reel to get around $200. So this time we went with the Dobbins Maverick line of rods by Dobbins Rods. A great line of rods. You know, they go all the way up to the Ecstasy series. There's a whole bunch of lines through there. This is their entry second line, I believe.
Yep.
But the Maverick, it's a just like these other rods, it's a line of rods that are durable, has that Dobbins name, but you can have a ton of different models. You could have a frog, you know, you could play around with the different models. And then I paired that up with the Shimano SLX XT. So a little bit higher price point reel. With this reel, you get the same SLX proven durability, but you get the external adjustment. So that's the difference between the SLX and the SLX XT, but this is another workhorse. Again, paired up with that Maverick rod, you can have a bunch of combos for all of your technique specific stuff.
All right, next one up for me. From Savage Gear, we have the Squad series. We've paired that up to an Abu Garcia Max Pro. Here's what I'm gonna say about this. If you are a beginner or you are on a serious budget, either one, because not everyone who is on a budget is a beginner, right? There's guys that are very talented anglers, but on a budget. Either one of those guys, I wanna speak to you right now. This setup is the lowest price point of all of these bait casters, and it is phenomenal. What you get for the spend is mind-blowing to me. The Max Pro is a phenomenal reel. It's a workhorse, external braking system, you know, all the things, but what I've noticed about it, what I've really enjoyed about it, and why we link it so much as a budget reel is durability. They take the beating. Paired up to a Squad, the Savage Gear Squad rod. Savage Gear doesn't have much of a name in rods, right? So the handful that they've built have always been crazy good. And I think the reason they do that is because if you're trying to get into a market, you really got to step it up to get in. The Squads at their price are incredible. Like one of our favorite Swimbait rods of all time is a Squad rod. They're just so good, and it truly is a full line. Again, you have so many options to choose from. We'll give you some of our favorites in the description, but you just cannot go wrong at that price point if you're on a tight budget.
All right, so just like we had the Tatula XT and the Fuego in the spinning setup, we got the same thing here, the Tatula XT bait caster paired up with the Daiwa Fuego. Again, we put this one together because the reel's good, the rod's good, but a lot of guys are just Daiwa guys, you have the
Oh, yeah.
Shimano guys, you have the Abu
You can't
guys.
mix and match those two brands.
Right. So paired those up. Again, a phenomenal combo for the price point. Again, Tatula XT paired up with that Fuego. You can have that whole system, matchy-matchy, and they are great.
Just a personal note on that Fuego baitcaster. I have noticed over the last year that that particular reel is phenomenal with lighter weight baits, like pitching square bells, things that don't weigh very much and you still need to send them. I don't know why its startup speed is so good, but it fishes shockingly well at its price point. All right, next one up for me. Oh, it's speaking of matchy-matchy, here we go. Shimano SLX rods paired up to that SLX-A reel. That is the epitome of a workhorse combo. That is, in my mind, in this price point, that's that benchmark. You're like, there's the standard. That thing is crazy good. How does everything else set around that? It's just such a solid combo. The SLX-A has brought so many technologies down. We're in the second generation of that reel. They brought more technologies into it again. It's crazy what you're getting compared to just a few years ago. And then just the SLX line of rods, you know, 7.2 heavy, like true frog rod. You've got a true jerkbait rod. You've got the 610 medium in there. They did a fantastic job of taking some of those critical Shimano actions that we love so much and then brought them down to that lower price point, and the actions are still right. So while you don't have the sensitivity or the weight reduction of an X-Pride, you still have the exact same action. So when you stick a jerkbait fish, it's loading up properly, it's fighting them properly. It's just such a good combo.
Yeah, both the SLX and the Fuego. I mean, this guy right here, whether you're a high school tournament angler, a college angler, or a tournament pro on a budget, I mean, you can really rig your entire boat, your entire arsenal with the entire SLX lineup. And that's important to a lot of people. Having that same feel and familiarity with your reels and your rods means a lot. All right, next up for me, gonna be the St. Croix Bass X paired up with the 7 reels. I think Matt already talked about the Bass X in the spinning line. Same thing with the bait casters. I mean, St. Croix does such a great job at making technique specific rods. He already hit the nail on the head talking about all the Bass X stuff. Again, 3rd generation of Bass X that we've fished. This is by far the best, and it's a workhorse.
It is.
But you can have, like he said, your hair jig rod. You could have there's just so many different rods in that lineup. And then paired up with this new 7 reels. This is a reel that came out, what, last year?
Yeah, GF, yeah.
Last year and a half ago or so. What really stood out to both Matt and I about this reel, one, you get that external braking system on the side, which is always nice. You can adjust on the fly, whether you're in a windy situation, throwing a glide bait, a spinner bait, stuff that kind of catches into the wind. You want to back that or tighten that braking system down. But the cast ability, the distance and how far this thing casts was the standout for this guy. But again, that 7 reel paired up with that Bass X, that's a really good feeling rod and reel combo in the hand.
All right, next one up. This was a branch out for us over the past year. I spent a lot of time with these rods. So Fenwick completely revamped their rod line. Both of us fished Fenwicks as kids. And then there were some generations in between where it was like, it felt like the brand got lost, right? They just weren't quite right. And we were walking through iCast a couple years ago, and there were a bunch of Fenwicks on an end cap, and we picked one up and we're playing with it and was like, whoa, this is familiar. Like a complete resurgence of the brand. That was the highest end. It was a world class that we were playing with at iCast. I liked that rod so much that next thing you know, I've like dabbled my way through all of them. I wanted to know because it was a complete revamp, like top to bottom, every single model. So this is the Fenwick Eagle series, which is their lowest price point. And I've been really, really impressed. I grew up fishing that name, and it's really neat to see such a quality rod back in that same family. So the Eagle, you know, at $100, split grip, but full cork, super comfortable to fish. very familiar actions, and the actions are dialed. Just like we were just talking about the Shimano, how those actions come through that whole family. This is the same thing. Like, I fell in love with a couple of world classes, tried it in the next one down, and then jumped all the way down, tried it in Eagle, and they're identical. It's very impressive how those actions carry, because, you know, as they make changes in price points, it's changes in material too. So they actually have to make major adjustments to get them to feel the exact same. It's really impressive when you get into how rods are built when they do it right. Now that is paired up to the Revo X. So we've jumped into that Revo family from Abu Garcia, and the Revo is a whole different ball game. Very comfortable reels in the hand. You have so many different options in that family. Revo X is just super affordable, great options. You know, I'm not going to say external cast control again, because we've said that so many times, but so many functions that have poured down from those higher end reels into that family, and they're very impressive.
All right, next up for me is going to be the SLX, but we're talking swim bait specific. How cool is it now that we can talk about technique specific rods, specifically swim bait rods? I know Matt mentioned it a little bit about that Savage Gear, that squad rod is a really good swim bait rod, but this SLX, this is a 7'8" heavy swim bait rod. We're talking a true swim bait rod, longer handle, more stout of a rod, you know, got enough backbone to throw your bigger glide baits, your jig hook swim baits,
yep.
And then paired up with the Cardiff, Shimano Cardiff 300. This specific reel is a reel that when I first got into swim bait fishing, I was throwing a ton of,
yep.
And caught my PB, my 15 pounder on that guy right there. So paired up with some braid and some leader, you guys are all set to throw, whether you're throwing glide baits or swim baits, belly hook swim baits, jig hook swim baits. But this guy right here, got that longer handle, tucks real nice in the side. You can just rear back and jack them and not have any issues. But a true swim bait combo at this price point is really cool.
That's amazing. Last but not least is a bait finesse rod. So we wanted to give you a couple of those outliers, a true swim bait combo and a true bait finesse combo right in that appropriate price range. Here we are, Cashion Element again. We just got done talking about those. The Element series is a budget alternative to some of Cashion's higher end rods, and they're fantastic. I love the cork. Specifically, this rod is the 610 medium light, which is the most universal of all of Cashion's bait finesse rods. It is the one that can do everything. So I was pumped when they brought that to the Element line and have since caught piles and piles of fish on it. That is paired up to, from Abu Garcia, we've got that Revo X BFS. So this reel is we've done full reviews of this reel before. It's a full-size frame. There it is next to a Revo X. But the internals, the spool, those things are completely different. And what I'll say about this is while it's full-size in the hand, its castability with super lightweight baits is very impressive. That was the first reel at this price point where I went, wow, this is a bait finesse reel. It can throw the stuff. Now, it's not going to throw as far as a $400 bait finesse reel, but you can take, especially like Americanized bait finesse, you know, a 16th or an 8th paired to little swim baits, little creature baits.
Ned rigs, yeah.
You can send that stuff. It is so much fun. You're on a budget. This is a very affordable bait finesse combo that nobody even would have dreamt of 5 or 10 years ago at this price point, right? And here we are. Done deal. It is a fantastic combo for the price.
Yeah, pretty cool. The just complete opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Full swim bait combos, full bait finesse combos. Really, really cool. Again, $200 combos. Trying to save you guys some money. What do we got up next?
All right, tomorrow we are talking $300 combos. Again, we are doing these videos 7 days a week, no breaks, all the way through this buyer's guide series. We've stacked them for you so that you can take advantage of the sales while they're here. There is not a Black Friday sale this year. It is a Black November sale. You want to take advantage of the different segments of the sale as they are happening. All of these rods, all of them are on sale right now, and the reels will be in the next segment of this sale in a week and a half or so. So we'll see you guys again tomorrow, bright and early, talking $300 combos.
Yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys tomorrow.